Hello again. It's this kind of video where I probably had too much to drink, but it's completely appropriate for the subject because it's about Guardians of the Galaxy, the animated series, which is really something, unless you're a kid, you really like if you're a drinking kind of person, because it's really fun. It's stupid, but it's fun. And yeah, really, it's just a great thing to enjoy as light-hearted humor. As you may know, if you don't know the background, it's the animated series is based on the movie characters, not the comics itself. So don't expect the characters from the comic books to be like that. It's based on the movies, which were hugely successful for good reason, because they were really great movies, really entertaining movies. So the show is based on that. And in this review I can only comment on the first 2 seasons, because those are the 2 seasons I've seen. I haven't seen season 3 yet, which is kind of a shame, because in season 3, from what I've read, Howard the Duck finally becomes part of the story, and we've obviously been waiting for that, because Howard the Duck was the first Marvel character to make it on the big screen, to be really famous, so to speak. The movie sucked, but it was also so bad it was good. So he's the guy we've been waiting for all this time, but he only appears in season 3, which I haven't seen yet. But the first 2 seasons, they're really worth watching. You really should watch them. They're really, really entertaining. Like, obviously, it's more child-oriented than the movies. It's more like Peter Quill. He's similar to how he is in the movie, but he's also kind of like, I don't remember the names from the Filmation Ghostbusters, you know, the other Ghostbusters with the gorilla. They have the gorilla and the guy who is more smart and the guy who is more like an idiot, and Peter Quill, he's more like that guy who's more like an idiot. What is she doing? And it's kind of with the dynamic between Gamora and Peter Quill, it reminds me of never mind the dog. It reminds me of Futurama too, the dynamic between Leela and Fry. Similar to that. So it's a bit more child-oriented. This dog is making it easy to focus on making a video. She's chasing some insect. Anyway, it tells a lot of details about the Marvel Universe. It introduces Adam Warlock. It introduces Jason, which is the real father of Peter Quill and not Ego the Living Planet in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And it actually works a lot better than Ego the Living Planet in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Jason is a much deeper, much more interesting character. It's kind of, watching the animated series, you really regret that they didn't give Peter Quill his real father, that they made it Ego the Living Planet instead, because Jason, he's just a much deeper, much more interesting character, and he has so many plots and devious schemes, and it's really an amazing character. And like I said, they introduce Adam Warlock, and then Jason possesses Adam Warlock. They introduce the real Nova Corps, not that stuff they introduced in the movie, which is nothing like the Nova Corps. But the real Nova Corps was the helmet and the superpowers. They introduced that. And they introduced lots of characters, and in some ways it works better than how it is portrayed in the MCU. Because it introduces more established characters with more of a story to them, instead of just having characters appear and having actors portray them without anything really to them. So in that way it works better, which doesn't take away from the movies being awesome. It's just cool that the real comic book characters, when they are shown in the animated series, they're kind of like rearing their head, like, look at me, I'm the real comic book character, I'm just as good as what you see in the cinema, and they really are. And that's what makes it work, that they introduce versions more appropriate, more loyal to the comics, and they totally work, and they are really convincing and make a really good story, especially Jason, which is just 10 times better than Ego the Living Planet. But I don't want to criticize the movies too much, because the movies are great, but Jason is just such a great character in both seasons, and makes it a really great show to follow the story of the Guardians of the Galaxy battling Jason, Peter Quill's real father, voiced by Jonathan Frakes, by the way. Jonathan Frakes. It's a lie. We made it up. It's fiction. We invented it. Jonathan Frakes. I'm trying to figure out what the dog is doing. Anyway, bottom line is, this is a great animated show, and even though it's a bit more kid-oriented, especially with the character of Peter Quill, it's really something you should watch as an adult if you can get past that thing that Peter Quill is portrayed like a bumbling idiot, like in Filmation Ghostbusters, or that it has the Futurama Leela versus Fry dynamic. If you can get past that, it's a really good, really interesting show that tells you a lot about the universe it's set in. And on top of that, it's not like that which I'm seeing as bringing me to that, but having Cosmo the space dog in an actual talking role. He's a really great character. He's been my favorite all through that series. Cosmo is just great. The dog that is telepathic and with his Soviet accent, and he reminds me of something. I don't remember what it is, but Cosmo, no. Cosmo telepathic. Cosmo can read your mind. Cosmo can read minds of people that come to nowhere. Cosmo read mind of people who come to nowhere and tell people who come to nowhere. Yes, duh. That people obey law in nowhere. It's not easy. Anyway, it's a great show. You should watch it. I'm looking forward to season 3. Cosmo rules. Cosmo the space dog rules. Misha the real dog is confused and running around. No comparison. That's the beauty about Marvel Comics, that fictional characters are making more sense than anything in the real world. It's called escapism. That fictional dogs make more sense than the actual thing. And yes, this is my recommendation for Guardians of the Galaxy, the animated series, that I've been trying hard to make, besides being distracted 400 times by this. So check out that show. It's a really great addition to the movies and a really great addition to the Marvel universe.